Watch the game, watch the game, watch the game, watch the game sports. Get up with us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be notified every time we go live.
Yeah, man.
Well, it's kind of gloom and doom.
The weather outside reflects.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's not gonna ruin my excitement for the game of football being in full bloom. I'm not gonna allow that to happen because being that I'm a diehard Bears fan for some strange reason, if the Bears somehow get out of contention, football, the NFL, is the one sport that I do not have a problem watching throughout the duration of the season, given that my team, the Chicago Bears, are out of contention. So we're 0-1. We lose another one to Green Bay. Penn, I don't know how much weight you put on the loss to Green Bay, but after a day of having some time to think about it,
Mm-hmm.
I have a perspective on this game. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome probably the youngest. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be the youngest
The
person ever be
youngest.
on Watch the Game Sports
At a whopping 4 months old.
because he wasn't having it tonight. He had to go live. Big sis and two big sisters couldn't handle him tonight, so he had to get on with Dad. Please welcome Lincoln Hudson. I would say
What's
all three names, but Lincoln Hudson,
yeah,
4 month
yeah.
old Lincoln Hudson.
Tell him you here. We was watching the game yesterday. He watched the game, and
Yeah,
he saw Dad kind of losing his mind. And when we got it to 20-14. I'm like, come on, defense. We got to get a stop. We was in here cheering. Link, we got to change the mojo. We about to change it. We got it to third down, and we gave up that conversion. And I hit a cuss word so hard. We try not to cuss that too much here on Watch the Game.
yeah,
And it scared him so hard he started crying. I was like, you know what? That's exactly how I feel right now. So,
yeah, yeah,
so yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And he got to go watch his first Michigan game this weekend out in Shorewood with the fellas. So we ain't had a full complement. Uncle Hen wasn't there, you weren't there, but he
Yeah,
was there with his Michigan stuff on. So I guess it's the small things. But yesterday, boy, yeah.
yeah. That was a whole different experience. Like I said, given some time and given a day to think about this game and watch a few things in hindsight, I had to question the game plan. Then once I saw it again, I saw some of the mistakes or the lack of ability that Justin had to make some things happen. And he
Yep.
had two big mistakes. He had a pick, he had a fumble. I don't think I don't think anyone wants to see Justin succeed more than us. Uh, I mean, Chicago in general, man, want to see the guy succeed. But I have to lay some blame on him based on some of the things I saw. But first and foremost, I didn't agree with the game plan with a young quarterback. And once again, Green Bay. It would just so happen to group. It just so happened to be Green Bay, but the Bears got out coached,
Yep.
and Matt LaFleur and the staff put their quarterback in a better position to win. And that's pretty much what it came down to. I wasn't overly impressed with Love,
I wasn't
but
either.
he took advantage of what the Bears gave him. I mean, literally gave him the game. Uh, there's a couple plays that stood out in this game. more than maybe even more than a couple. There's a lot of names to throw around. When you want to blame certain guys, and you seen the title, week one, pick one to blame,
Yep.
and you can pick more than one if you want.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going out on the limb, and I'm going to pick Eberflus, the
You
head
picking the head
coach.
coach. Okay.
I'm
All
picking
right.
the head coach. Okay, so I don't know if Link is going to allow you to get your opinions out tonight. So I'm ready to fire off, and if the stream holds up, we gonna get it done. Um, Look here, man. If I go back to the beginning of the game, the Bears receive the kickoff.
Right.
First two or three plays,
Looked
okay.
good. Yeah.
Uh, then they got to the point where it's 3rd and 1. And they had a Nagyism. It
Yep.
looked like damn near the same play that Kansas City ran on Thursday night. They tried to snap the ball to Cole Commit on 3rd and short. It didn't work. Then they come up and they quarterback sneak Justin Fields on 4th and short.
And
He
didn't
come
get
up
it.
short,
Yep.
turn over the ball on downs. That's coming out the locker room. That's the first drive. I think they give the Packers. Did the Packers go down and march into their zone in their first drive? Or
I believe
the
it. They punted it back to us, and then they scored on these. No, they scored on their first
second drive?
drive. They scored on it
Okay,
because I remember the telecast. They said they didn't do that all year last year. Score on the opening drive.
okay. So the beginning of the way they started this game in the first half with the offensive scheme and offensive game plan sucked. Never challenged the offensive line to establish the line of scrimmage. They got beat in the trenches. Never challenged the offensive line to win the line of scrimmage and establish the run game. And you know what? This is going to get quite redundant. But Justin Fields needs a running game. He is not the guy yet that you can say, okay, Justin, pick him apart. He's not that guy yet.
Right, right, right.
He needs a running game. He needs a pacifier. Quite like Link. Quite like Link tonight. Okay. Justin needs a pacifier like maybe Cole Commit can run a 5 to 10 yard route. Maybe
And they
Chase Claypool can run a 5 to 10 yard route. All the vertical routes. It looked like they were unprepared. It looked like they like let's do the stuff that we did in the preseason and like those vertical plays that happened, like that went for touchdowns in the
yeah.
like the very first preseason exhibition game. It seemed like they tried to do some of that again. So it's like they were trying to like just really unprepared.
And they did not adjust.
Adjust that's adjust when I get off into the adjustments, I have to look into the second half. Okay, the game plan going into the first half, I did not like. They never tried to establish the line of scrimmage and let the offensive line push and power and just lay their imprint on this football game. They didn't allow the offensive line to do that. Didn't put Justin in position to succeed from that standpoint. And the reason why I said it's going to be redundant because if you've seen Justin Fields at Ohio State, they established the run first. Okay. It has to happen for Justin. He's not that guy yet. So, um, then the defense going into this game, we had to know that Jones was the best player on the field.
Uh,
Was it
uh,
was
Aaron
they had
Jones.
a
Yeah.
guy? They had a couple guys injured. So go ahead. So what's up?
Aaron,
What's up?
Aaron Jones. You had what's the number one receiver, the young kid Watson. He was out with a hammy. You know not Corey Dillon, but Dillon, number 28. You know these guys been there. They've been in the fold. Obviously, if Aaron Rodgers is not there, they obviously got to move up on your game plan. Just your awareness. Like, okay, well, we got to make sure we know where these guys are. We got to make sure these guys can hurt us. They've been there. They've been with LaFleur. This not going to be nothing new to them. So you would think that Allen Williams, and that's my pick, by the way. You would think Allen Williams would have been coaching this defense up on that, would have made that a point of emphasis throughout the week. But it just seemed that the defense was totally unprepared. It seemed that the defense, all that money that you spent on the defense, minus a few people, all that money you spent on the defense, the draft picks, the free agent, everything you did, it did not, it looked like the exact same Chicago Bears that we saw last year. And what I mean by that is when you needed a stop, and remember, when we was in the preseason, the exhibition season, I said, I'm not asking this defense to be the Dallas Cowboys. I'm not asking them to be the San Francisco 49ers and be one of the top units in the league. No, be serviceable. Can you get a stop when you need it? Just be middle of the pack, 12 to 18. That didn't look like a 12 to 18 ranked defense yesterday. That's bottom tier. And with Justin not being able, and we watched some broke down the tape, off air in our pre-show meeting. We saw him miss some reads. But when Justin is not doing that and Justin's not able to use his legs to affect the game, like he was able to do last year when we were scoring them 30 points a game, we gonna need somebody to step up. We gonna need a unit to take hold of this thing. What happened to Monsters of the Midway? That was a calling card for this franchise. Look, we may not have a franchise quarterback, but we're gonna have a defense. You're gonna come out here, you're gonna work for it. They ain't worked for nothing in 3 years. Man, I'm getting hot, man. I'm getting hot over here again, all over.
Yeah, especially when you think about the fact that Matt Eberflus is supposed to be a defensive coach. They ran around talking about the hits principle. Um, Team looked unprepared on all three phases.
No
Uh,
turnovers yesterday, right? Again.
no, not from the defense. No, no, no. No.
Yeah.
But Justin had his couple turnovers with a ball security issue, and then he had a throw where he was trying to he was looking down Darnell Mooney, and when
Never
I
moved
looked
this.
at that play,
Yeah.
yeah, and when you look at some of the tapes, um, depending on who you've seen, uh, Jordan Love was moving the linebackers and safeties with his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
When Justin was staring guys down, and on the pick that he had trying to force it into Mooney, if you had a chance to look at that, he was stepping up into the pocket, and DJ Moore was popping open free towards the sideline as
Right.
he, yeah, and that was misread. So what I'm saying is Justin isn't that good yet, but he's got to do it. He's got to do it in a hurry because this is the thing. I'm gonna credit the offense for at least 14 of those points that the Green Bay Packers scored yesterday, based on the interception and the fumble that Justin had. And I think they scored on both of those turnovers, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong. So I'm gonna hang 14 points on the offense. Okay. And the defense. If they didn't figure out that Aaron Jones was on the field in the first half, hell, well, in the second half, he came out and they still couldn't figure out what he was. And he did them a favor by taking it to the house and limping off the field. As if, look, he gave them a little bit more of a cushion because they went in at halftime down 10-6. And,
Right.
and and at that point you felt like, okay, we can make some adjustments. They can make some adjustments, turn this thing around because we still got Justin Fields. He's still capable of making one huge play.
Right.
So is
Right.
DJ Moore. So
Right.
10-6 going in at halftime, you still felt pretty good. First game of the season, down 10-6. Okay, with those two guys, we can at least, we got at least one big play away, and we either winning this game or whatever. But defense come out in the second half. Even if, just the one thing to consider, even if the offense went into the locker room and made adjustments, they didn't make adjustments based on the defense giving up another 7 points. You got to think that. You don't make adjustments based on turning the ball over yourself, and you don't make adjustments based on your defense giving up a touchdown right out of the locker room after a 15-minute break. And that's what happened yesterday. So they come out in the first half, offense come out with a bad game plan, and then defense come out in the second half and never adjusted to the fact that Aaron Jones was on the field and they couldn't find him. So he goes into the house, pulls up lane, and then midway through the third quarter, it turns into a folly game. They was making all tons of mistakes. And then eventually the special teams broke down. So there's plenty of blame to go around. Like I say, we said pick one, but there's plenty of guys to blame, players and coaches, for the
Yeah.
lack of preparation and effort.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Penalties.
yep. Oh, that was in the first half. Remember, DJ Moore got that penalty.
Yeah,
Uh, I mean, I get what he was trying to do as a
yeah, but
leader,
this
as a
ain't the time
captain.
for that.
Yeah,
This ain't the
yeah.
time for that.
Especially then we have two back to back. Was it holdings or false start? And
Braxton Jones.
what was he
Brax.
doing yesterday other than collecting
Well,
flags and fines? What was he
hold
doing?
on. Doing exactly that. Muffing up the game, becoming the next Charles Leno Jr.
Speed bump Charlie.
Yeah. So, uh, and shout out to my man Phil Latoshin. He gave him that nickname, Speed Bump Charlie. On Watch the Game. On the Tape Never Lies Network on YouTube. If you guys are looking for a real good channel to break down tape, that's one of them. The Tape Never Lies YouTube. Bears, big Bears fans, a lot of big Bears content. But yeah, man, Braxton, he just there you go, man. You cannot, and that's another thing. Justin isn't that good to play behind the sticks. You can't
Right.
be third and third and 12, third and 15. You cannot do that. He's not that good. He's not that good. Bottom
Did
line is
you
this. Go ahead.
did you see? And I'm guessing you noticed it because and this is without watching the all 22. When the Bears got behind in that game, it was easy to see Justin stopped trying to read coverage. He started just trying to run. He was dropping back, trying to run. And when he fumbled, that's exactly what he did. He didn't try and read that coverage. He didn't try and find his first or second read. He just went and took off. And that was his philosophy for the rest of the game. And I kind of understood it because he was like, okay, well, I got to do what work. I got to go back to it because they can't protect me. So I got to do this. But it was just a bad look all the way around because like I said, we broke down the tape before the show actually came on the air, and we saw when they were still in the game, he was missing reads. So now it's like, okay, now we got to just use this as a glorified practice because I think once that game got beyond what 27-14, it just became that like let's just put some good things together for some momentum for next week for the Buccaneers, and let's put some things together so we can build on that. And he never he never came out with that outlook. He never kept trying to go through his reads. He just kept trying to run, kept trying to run, kept trying to run. And I was just very disappointed in that part of his game yesterday.
Um, Before we continue, I'm gonna shout out a couple people, man. Logan McCarthy, Ollie Cone, and my main man Will the Thrill Bates. What's up, Will? I see you watching tonight. Will was at the game.
Yeah, Will, how you feel about it, Will? How you feel about it, Will? Because I was
Will
hurt.
was at the game, man, and a matter of fact, let me shout out a couple more people that was at the game. I believe it was a sellout crowd. Soldier Field was on fire, and those fans just got a raw deal. But the coach, former girls basketball coach at East Chicago Central High School, Eric Kondich, Coach K, was at the game, and East Chicago, Indiana, Councilman Dwayne Rancifer. He was at the game. Now, I don't. I want to say Dwayne. We call him Tuss. I want to say that he a Bears fan, but I think he was sitting directly behind the Packers sideline. He took some real good shots. Uh, at Soldier Field, he went live a couple times. I think he put some things in his Facebook story. But those
Did he
three
have on
people had.
Packers gear?
I don't know. I didn't see any. I don't think he had. I didn't see any of his pictures of what he had on. But I know he most definitely was at the game with some really good seats. But I'm gonna assume he's a Bear fan that ended up on the Packers side of the field with having the privilege and of going to see our Bears play. But they really laid an egg, man. And then so many of the critics wonder how prepared this team was just based on what we were hearing from the exhibition games. We hearing so much about all these really good practices they were having and so many guys doing well. Chase Claypool being one of them. And man,
Because he was lighting it up in practice, right?
yeah, supposedly before he went down, but you don't this is my thing. Darnell Mooney, I think Darnell Mooney is about maybe 5'9", 5'10", maybe 185 pounds. We may be giving him a few pounds. But that vertical game plan, when you look at guys like Claypool, I think he's like 6'4", 6'5", big receiver.
Right.
These are the guys you want to get in mismatches. Like, and Justin did miss some of these guys and some of these routes. Some of these plays we looked at in the first half, but in the second half, it was just something totally different. I mean, when your defense come out and give up a quick touchdown, I believe that's got to bust your game plan up or whatever adjustments you made at halftime when you were only down by 4 points. You
Right.
don't game plan for your defense just giving up points right out of halftime. So I'm gonna assume that changed up whatever the scheme was after that. But my point is this: at what point are you going to say, okay, it's a contract year for Claypool? Let's put him on the spot. Let's put him in position to succeed. They had Claypool out there blocking, and I'm like, at some point when you're a wide receiver and you out here blocking, doing the dirty work, most wide receivers are kind of arrogant and they want targets. They want the football. And I
Mm-hmm.
think Chase Claypool is one of those guys. He had one drop. He had one drop on one of those vertical plays. But my thing is, why would you
The
pass
ball
him the
got
ball
tipped though.
behind the sticks?
Yeah,
Why
but
would you pass him the ball behind the sticks? Put him in a position where he could go up and get it. Put him right across the middle of the field so he can be a little bit more imposing and make physical plays in the middle of the field. Challenge the safeties to step up on that big guy. I don't. That's what I'm saying. I didn't understand the game plan outside the fact that they did not want to establish the run. Okay, Roshan Johnson finished strong. Okay, he finished strong. If I had to pick a bright spot on offense, that was it. Okay, Deontay Foreman early in the first half, he saw the field a little bit different from Herbert, I would like to believe.
Yeah.
And he ran hard on the limited opportunities he got. But they went away from him. They never decided, okay, Deontay seeing the field a little different. Let's give it to him until we figure some things out, until we figure out some other things with Herbert, or until we figure something else out with the passing game. Let's ride that in and get the 7 points. Okay. But we had to settle for 3 points on the first drive. We settled for two field goals in the first half. In one of those drives, Deontay Foreman had a rhythm going. He showed something different from what Herbert showed us. They didn't stay with that matchup. Okay. Uh and then they when they were forced, even when they were forced in the second half to stretch the field, they didn't want to do it until they eventually got Mooney in the end zone one time.
Right.
Then you get Mooney in the end zone, and then you get the momentum. Defense come out, give it right back to Green Bay. See,
Yep.
so
That's the part where I lost my mind.
effort,
Yeah.
effort, blown assignments all over the place. Because even on the one blown assignment that when Love threw the touchdown, and we like, why is that guy so wide open? It
Off
was
of a
pointed
fumble
out
snap,
that
remember?
yeah, but that's the thing. Okay, so if you're playing corner or safety or whatever, you have an assignment.
Yeah.
And the quarterback fumbles the snaps behind the line of scrimmage, that has nothing to do with you. You
Hmm.
still have your guy running down the field. You still have to be accounted for him. You can't run to the scramble, and that's what happened. And I don't know if it was Stevenson that made this mistake, but somebody blew the coverage, and that's how the receiver got so wide open. I forget his name, but that's what happened. And you cannot do that. You have to stay sound to your assignment. And when that happened, that took the air. That touchdown had the same effect that the Aaron Jones touchdown had. It took the air out of the building again,
Hmm.
right after
For
the
good.
Bears go down and score
Yeah.
points.
Yeah.
So uh plenty of blame to go around. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Because
Which
because 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 Link ain't having it, and he giving me a sign that maybe I need to move on to next week.
we burning the
Okay.
tape. We about to burn the
Oh
tape.
yeah, you gotta. Oh man. Oh yeah, you gotta burn that tape. But after Justin looks at it, Justin have to take some accountability for some of the things that he missed in this game. Um. Uh. That's the best way I could put it. So he has to take some accountability for what he was not able to do. Luke Getzey has to take some accountability for a game plan that doesn't support your quarterback in the line at the line of scrimmage. Putting the onus on your offensive line to win the line of scrimmage early, and no matter how much you're not effective, you got to continue to try and run the football. And by the way, we went out, we got DJ Moore. Let's figure out a way to get him more than 2 targets.
Two targets.
That that might be on Justin. That might be on Justin because I did see him open on a couple plays that Justin just didn't let it go. Okay, so that might be on Justin. I even seen Claypool open on a couple plays that he just did not throw the football to him. He chose to check it down a little bit too much.
Right. Right.
I don't know if he's seeing the field fast enough. And I don't know if he trusts the offensive line enough to have a little bit more patience. Okay. The ultimate team sport is football. 11 guys, everybody has an assignment. So if Justin don't trust his line, I saw some of that yesterday. He didn't trust the line, and he didn't trust he didn't trust his arm to hit those windows. And the time in which he did, he picked the wrong guy, and it ended up being a pick six. So it's big boy time, Justin. It's big boy time. Get in the classroom, lock in, because sooner or later, it's all going to be Justin's fault.
Oh yeah,
All gonna be Justin fault.
I haven't listened to the local radio today, but I'm sure it was a large contingent saying putting the blame at his feet. I'm sure it was a large contingent not really looking at what with the schemes, not really looking at where the defense played poorly, not really looking at how do you not scheme up for the best play on the other team. I'm sure it was a lot of that going on today. But like you said, it's time to play. Put your big boy pants on. We're just gonna throw this away, Justin. You got to learn from this. Now, what you cannot do, even if they lose next week, you got to show us improvement with these newfound weapons that you have. And I really believe if he shows the improvement with these weapons next week, the Bears are good enough to beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I just got to believe it. I watched that first half, Tampa Bay versus the Vikings. I don't know how Tampa Bay ended up winning that game, but it did not strike fear in my heart.
Yeah, that game was real slow. It was a real slow moving game until Tampa. Tampa forced 3 turnovers in that game, and Minnesota did everything everyone expected them to do, which is t-
Come
t-
back to the pack.
yeah, come a little bit back down to earth. They won
Yeah,
all those close games last year, but now speaking of Tampa, that's the Bears' next opponent. Gonna be in Tampa. Yeah, okay. So they got a rhythm. Uh what's the quarterback name? Baker
Baker.
Mayfield. Baker
Yep.
Mayfield got to come into this game with some confidence. By the way, Chicago, you better find Mike Evans and got when you better find those guys because they're going to be on the field. So you might want to find them today or tomorrow on the tape
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can't wait until the second half to figure out. Oh yeah, Mike Evans is on the field.
He's
Okay,
pretty
so
good.
let's figure out a scheme to find those guys.
Listen, can't, and I know we're gonna come back and we're gonna recap, we'll preview the game later on in the week. But I'm gonna just this is just a early question I got for you. If the Bears show improvement and still lose that game next on Sunday, does that damper your expectations for the season? I know that's only 2 games, but this first one felt like more than 2 games. I don't care what nobody say, telling me it's just 1 game. No, they've been beating us for 30 years. Okay, we finally had a window. Aaron Rodgers not there, Brett Favre not there. We got the more experienced quarterback. We finally got a window. And to lose like we did, not just lose, we didn't lose on the last second field goal. We didn't lose, just on some fluke play at the end. It wasn't close. We got thoroughly embarrassed. So if we go down there and we don't see the improvement, just say they put the same type of effort on tape next week, but they end up losing 28-16. Is it time to push the panic button?
Well, losing, always have to look at the way you lose. And looking at yesterday's loss, it was the Packers, but you don't want to lose to anybody like that. I don't give a damn if it's the Packers or the Jackson State Tigers. I don't care who it is. The Bears just didn't look prepared to play against anybody, and that's just that. And I know most of the fans uh just pissed because it was the Packers, but you 0-1,
I
zero
get
and
it.
one, and for the life of me, our fans, we could try and voice our opinions on how important these games are when you talk about divisional games, NFC North games. At some point in time, it's got to mean something to those guys. And I'm not saying it didn't, but they just didn't look prepared yesterday. Uh, they just didn't look prepared. Now, when you talk about this rivalry, there's a few guys that's been in this rivalry for a while now and should know exactly what it's all about. Luke Getzey, he came from Green Bay, so he's been
Mhm.
on both sides of this rivalry right now.
Yep.
So for him not to have an aggressive game plan just to win the football game, if we going out here to try to prove that Justin Fields can be the MVP of the league, that's the wrong approach. That's the wrong approach. You got to go out there to win the football game. Um, Eddie Jackson, he would look lost. He looked lost yesterday.
Ain't he in a contract year?
No,
No,
I
Jalen.
know Jason.
Jalen.
I know Jalen
Jalen.
Johnson is, but
Yeah.
Eddie Jackson looked lost yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, he let Dobbs run right across his face. I think that was Dobbs, ran right across his face in the end zone for a touchdown. Okay, you're in the
Didn't Dobbs
most
have two
dangerous.
yesterday?
Yeah, but I know he scored one he scored the
On Eddie,
first one
yeah.
on
On
Eddie
Eddie.
Jackson,
Yeah.
and I'm like, come on, man. I mean, so those are two guys that we uh know what this rivalry is all about. Luke Getzey being on both sides. Eddie Jackson being here since what 2016, 17, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He's a vet. He's a tenured
Yeah,
vet
he
of
knows what this is all about.
yeah.
At some point he looked like he had lost a step. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know, but he most definitely didn't look like he knew what was going on. Um, he was one of the guys that I was really hoping would play well, but got to get it together. Let's find Mike Evans and Chris Godwin now. Let's make sure we know where they are at. Because Baker Mayfield, based on what I've seen, he's going to push the ball down the field. They're going to have opportunities to make plays on the football. That's what I seen based on the Minnesota Vikings and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers game yesterday. Um, on the defensive end, Tremaine Edmonds, he played pretty well yesterday. He got downhill. Once Aaron Jones went down, they did play much better when Dylan was running the ball. I think Green Bay only had like 92 yards rushing. And see there you go. When you're talking about Justin's turnover and his interception and his fumble, that's the difference in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Because even in the second half, when Jones goes down, we had an opportunity to make a game of it, and the defense let us down, and Justin made two bad plays. So all I can say is we got Tampa Bay coming up next, and find where Mike Evans is and Chris Godwin.
Right
You
now.
better find
Right
them
now.
like right now. Okay.
Yeah.
If
Know their
if if they
address.
yeah no yeah be on stock mode and know where they are right now. I mean 2 nights because you know they're gonna be a big part of the game plan come Sunday. So and notice this: we have not seen our Bears wear their white jerseys yet. They've been wearing the navy jerseys all through exhibition, and they wore it at a Sunsplash Soldier Field on Sunday. So I'm willing to bet that's going to be if it's going to be extremely hot in
They gonna have
Tampa,
him on
they're
again.
going to
Yep.
have them on again. So now you're thinking about condition. Okay, now you're thinking about the conditioning of the football team. The hits principle is supposed to have the guys ready to play. Okay, Nate Davis, so much criticism for missing practices, and it showed yesterday. He wasn't in the greatest shape. He wasn't in the best condition. Down towards the end of their game. So they just got to get better. They got to do better, man. So tonight we gonna get ready to wrap up. I see the link knocked out.
No, he's still up.
Mm,
He's
Link
still
link
he's
done
still
calmed
here.
down a little bit. So maybe it's just my soothing voice just getting Link to calm down a little bit. But uh Tampa Bay Buccaneers next. Due to
12 o'clock.
the yeah, it's gonna be a noon game, so we ain't gotta sit around and anticipate kickoff. We can get right to it. And I want to believe that Matt Eberflus, Alan Williams, Lou Getzey, and Coach Hightower, the special teams coach. I got to believe that they are so. I got to think that they are highly anticipating practicing the game plan. I watched the press conference from Eberflus earlier today, and he said that this week they got to be prepared to be a lot more physical in practice. So all hell gonna break loose in practice, and I want to see a little bit more intensity and a little bit better game plan in Tampa. This game almost it wasn't as bad as the first Justin Fields start against the Cleveland Browns a couple years back
That
with
was
Matt
ugly.
Nagy, but it was damn sure close. It was damn sure close.
Well, considering who it was, the opponent, I'm gonna say it's where I mean, we done sat through a lot of these blowouts. I mean, we was 3-14 last year. We didn't win a game after October. We done sat through a lot of these, and that one just is just because of who it was, and we felt like we had an opportunity to really start making an imprint and really taking over the National Football Conference North Division, as you said, like
You're right.
Ric Flair
Yeah,
said.
you got to break it down all the way. We got to get kind of bougie with it. So I want to do a little different, man. But y- hey, season opener, fans turn up and the Bears turn down. That's exactly what happened. They
In a
were
nutshell,
the Bears were literally down
yeah,
on Sunday. The
yep.
effort was poor. After taking a second look at it, I got to put some blame on Justin. So Justin, get in the classroom. Lou Getsy, get in the classroom with Justin. Let's get this stuff figured out. Uh, so the secondary, let's figure some things out. In pass coverage, because guys were wide open in the middle of the field, wide open in the end zone.
Can we get
Come
off
on,
the
man.
field? Can we get
Yeah,
a
yeah.
stop?
Exactly. So can we figure out a way to get the ball to our weapons? All them guys we just paid Cole Komet, okay? And then there were a lot of people that said that they needed to pull Justin. When I was in the text with the TaylorMade boys, they were talking about they need to pull Justin. I'm like, no, they do not need to pull Justin. That's the reason why they're in the situation they're in right now because they don't have any chemistry. They don't have enough snaps. So they going out allowing that was the bright spot, allowing Justin to finish the game because I think that's the only thing he could do to make adjustments going into the next week and beyond for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
has to play.
He finished the game, but like I said earlier, he wasn't trying to read the defense no more. And we just need if you're gonna finish the game, come on, man. Let's just stack some plays together. Let's just have
Yeah.
something that we can show or we can point to at Hallis Hall during the week. This is how we want to play. This is how we want it to look. Yeah, it didn't go our way for the rest of the most of the game, but this we is evidence that we can do this. So, like I said, the interception he threw was a prime example of that. He never moved that linebacker out the middle of the field. He stared right at his target and he let it go.
Yeah. And he cost us 7 points
Yep.
on the pick six. So plenty of blame to go around. Shout out a few people. I have you had a couple ladies drop in tonight. That Kim Burgeon and my girl Michelle Tanny, both on Facebook, chimed in and checked us out a little bit tonight. One of my old school homeboys, Virgil Walden, checking us out tonight. So thanks for joining us tonight. Disappointing opener for our Bears, and all we can do is hope it gets better. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming up in Tampa.
12
We'll be
o'clock.
back Friday night. We'll be back Friday night after the injury report and all that stuff go roll in, and then we can preview the game. Um, who was it? The Jets
The Jets
and
and the Bills tonight.
the Bills going on as we speak. So I'm about to enjoy that. The Bears ain't about to ruin my football season. There you go. Watch the game sports. Get others. We'll be back Friday night to preview Bears Tampa Bay. A little bit of college football. Prime 2-0. Alabama ain't as good as we thought they were.
Oh, we'll
But
get to
Friday
that.
night,
Yeah.
we'll get to all that. Watch the game.
We
We
out.
out.